neighbors? I just watched Meghan Markle's Bloomberg interview, and I had to pause the video 3 times because I was getting secondhand embarrassment so severe I thought I might need medical attention. I'm sitting here in my living room, the same room where I've watched this woman's entire trajectory from fairy tale princess to whatever this robotic, hollow shell of celebrity desperation has become, and I honestly don't know whether to laugh or cry at the spectacular implosion we're all witnessing. Now, I know you guys are excited for more. But before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now let me tell you something that's going to make some of you uncomfortable, but it needs to be said by someone who's been watching this train wreck unfold for years. Meghan Markle has officially become the biggest disappointment in modern celebrity history. And what happened on Bloomberg wasn't just a bad interview, it was the final confirmation that the Empress has no clothes, never had any clothes, and has been walking around naked while we all pretended we couldn't see what was right in front of our faces. I remember when this woman first appeared on our screens as Harry's girlfriend, and I wanted so desperately to like her. Here was this American actress, this biracial woman who seemed intelligent and poised, who was going to bring some fresh energy to a monarchy that desperately needed modernizing. I was ready to cheer for her, to defend her against the inevitable criticism, to celebrate what looked like a real love story that could bridge cultures and generations, and show us all what true partnership could look like. But what we got instead was something so calculated, so manufactured, so completely devoid of authentic substance, that watching her now feels like watching someone perform a one-person show where they've forgotten all their lines and are just making up dialogue as they go along, hoping nobody notices that none of it makes any sense. That Bloomberg interview wasn't just bad television. It was a masterclass in how to destroy whatever credibility you have left in the span of 20 minutes. Bloomberg is not Entertainment Tonight. It's not some fluffy morning show where you can giggle your way through softball questions about your favorite skincare routine. This is a platform where world leaders discuss economic policy, where CEOs break down market strategies, where serious people have serious conversations about serious topics that actually matter in the real world. And what did Meghan bring to this prestigious platform? Recycled buzzwords about authenticity and empowerment that sound like they were generated by an AI that learned English from Instagram captions. She couldn't answer a single question without somehow making it about herself, her journey, her struggles, her perspective, as if the entire global economy revolves around her personal experience of buying pantyhose in the 1980s. The woman literally talked about wiping plates for her children, as if this was some profound insight into the human condition. She talked about finding joy in making things look beautiful, as if she's the first person in history to discover that presentation matters. She spoke in such vague, meaningless platitudes that I started wondering if she was actually having a stroke on live television, because surely no functioning adult communicates this way intentionally. But here's what really gets me angry, and I mean genuinely furious about this whole situation. The complete and utter waste of opportunity that Meghan represents. Do you understand what she had access to? She married into the British royal family, one of the most influential institutions on the planet. She had the attention of global media, the respect of millions of people, the platform to actually make a difference on issues that matter, and unlimited resources to create something meaningful and lasting. And what did she do with all of that power and influence and opportunity? She turned it into a personal grievance tour, a never-ending pity party where every conversation becomes about how hard it is to be Meghan Markle, how misunderstood she is, how authentic she's trying to be in a world that just doesn't appreciate her unique brand of manufactured relatability. The Bloomberg producers called her the biggest royal mistake ever made. And honestly, that might be the most accurate assessment of any public figure I've heard in years. Because mistakes can be corrected, mistakes can be learned from, mistakes can lead to growth and improvement. But what Meghan represents isn't a mistake. It's a complete misunderstanding of what public service means, what leadership looks like, what using your platform for good actually requires. When she talks about authenticity, which she does constantly like it's some magic word that makes everything she says meaningful, she's revealing that she has no idea what authentic actually means. Authentic people don't have to constantly tell you how authentic they are. Authentic people don't perform authenticity like it's a character they're playing. Authentic people certainly don't spend every public appearance talking about how authentic they're being while delivering the most scripted, focus grouped, consultant approved talking points imaginable. And the whole pantyhose story. Can we please talk about the pantyhose story for a minute? Because this perfectly encapsulates everything that's wrong with Meghan's approach to public communication. She's trying so hard to be relatable, to show us that she's just a regular person who used to buy pantyhose like the rest of us, that she doesn't realize how completely out of touch she sounds talking about not seeing pantyhose since movies in the 1980s, when millions of women wear them every single day for work. This is what happens when someone who has been completely insulated from normal life for years tries to cosplay as a regular person. It's like watching someone who learned about human behavior from watching television, trying to convince you they understand what it's like to be human. Every gesture feels calculated, every emotion seems performed, every personal anecdote sounds like it was workshopped by a team of publicists trying to hit specific demographic targets. But the most infuriating part of this whole Bloomberg disaster isn't even Meghan's performance, it's the pattern it represents. This is the same woman who sat with Oprah and made explosive accusations about the royal family that she couldn't substantiate. This is the same woman who signed multi-million-dollar deals with Spotify and Netflix based on the promise that she had something valuable to say, only to deliver content so boring and self-indulgent that even her biggest supporters couldn't defend it. Her Spotify podcast was canceled after executives reportedly called her and Harry grifters. Her Netflix projects have been met with reviews that range from lukewarm to openly mocking. Her attempts at lifestyle branding have fallen flat. Her political aspirations have been laughed off by serious political observers. And now her appearance on one of the most respected business platforms in the world has been labeled a complete catastrophe by the very people who booked her. This isn't bad luck. This isn't media bias. This isn't the result of unrealistic expectations. This is what happens when someone who fundamentally lacks substance tries to build a career on being substantial. This is what happens when someone mistakes having opinions for having expertise, mistakes being famous for being qualified, mistakes having a platform for having something worthwhile to say. And let's talk about Harry's role in all of this, because his absence from these disasters is becoming increasingly telling. The man who once stood shoulder to shoulder with his wife during their Oprah appearance, who defended her against all critics, who claimed their partnership was going to change the world, is now conspicuously absent when she appears on major platforms. He's not sitting in the audience during her Bloomberg interview. He's not promoting her Netflix series. He's not even mentioned in her discussions about their shared projects. That silence speaks volumes about what's really happening behind the scenes in Montecito. Harry may have been willing to burn bridges with his family for Meghan, but he's apparently not willing to tie his remaining credibility to her sinking ship. And honestly, who can blame him? Every time she opens her mouth in public, she makes both of them look more out of touch, more entitled, more completely disconnected from the reality that most people live in. The Bloomberg interview exposed something that many of us have suspected for years, but were maybe too polite to say out loud. Meghan Markle is not a serious person. She's not someone who has done the work to understand complex issues. She's not someone who has developed expertise in anything beyond self-promotion. She's not someone who has earned the right to speak with authority on subjects that affect millions of people's lives. What she is someone who has become very good at using the language of empowerment and social justice to disguise the fact that she has nothing meaningful to contribute to those conversations. She's mastered the art of saying absolutely nothing while making it sound like she's something profound. She's perfected the ability to center herself in every discussion while claiming to be lifting up others. This Bloomberg appearance was supposed to be her chance to prove that she could hang with serious people having serious conversations about serious topics. Instead, it proved definitively that she's exactly what her critics have always said she is. All style, no substance, all performance, no authenticity, all ambition, no actual ability to deliver on the promises that ambition makes. The tragedy isn't just that Meghan has failed to live up to expectations, it's that she's failed so spectacularly that she's made it harder for the next woman who tries to use a platform like hers for good. She's reinforced every stereotype about celebrity activism being shallow and self-serving. She's validated every criticism about Hollywood types thinking they can solve the world's problems without actually understanding what those problems are. But maybe that's fitting, because in the end, Meghan Markle's greatest achievement might be serving as a cautionary tale about what happens when opportunity meets entitlement, when privilege masquerades as purpose, when someone confuses being the center of attention with actually mattering. Bloomberg called her the biggest royal mistake ever made. But honestly, she's something much worse than that. She's a missed opportunity, a wasted platform, a reminder that having every advantage in the world means absolutely nothing if you don't have the character, the substance, and the genuine commitment to use those advantages for something bigger than yourself. And that, my friends, is the real tragedy of Meghan Markle's story. Ta-ta, and bye for now.